I can't believe that people are saying that Mbappe had a bad game last night. I just can't believe it. Like, I don't know how anyone can possibly say that. So, for starters, last night's game was literally among the hardest possible conditions that a player can ever play in. I genuinely feel that last night's game was harder than many games where you lose by like 4-0, 5-0, or like 6-0. Because when your team loses by that big, often towards the end of the game, there's like maybe a 20-minute spell or 20, 30-minute spell where the opposing team just kind of like lets loose. They kind of give up, right? Because it's like they're leading by so much. It's like they'll kind of just let you do what you want. Like, for example, the game where Barca lost to Bayern 8-2. Bayern clearly kind of just stopped attacking so much when they were leading 4-1. Suarez scored a great goal, but, Bayern stopped attacking so much. They kind of just, they're like, oh, it's like the scoreline's getting embarrassing. We're leading by so much. There's no point of playing so hard. But last night's game, where it's tense the whole time, and we're talking about the Wanda Metropolitano. The Wanda Metropolitano is by far the hardest stadium in Europe. Forget Anfield, forget Camp Nou, forget the Santiago Bernabeu. The Wanda Metropolitano is by far the hardest stadium to play at on these big Champions League nights. Ever since Diego Simeone has taken over, Atletico Madrid have never lost a single Champions League knockout game at home. Not a single one. That's absolutely crazy. You look at every single big club. You look at Barca. They've lost a lot of big games at home and by huge scorelines. For example, they lost to Bayern 3-0 in 2013. They lost to PSG 4-1 on 2 occasions. You look at Bayern. They got slapped around by Liverpool in 2019. They lost like 3-1, I think. And they lost to Madrid 2-1 in 2017. Even if you look at Real Madrid are literally the kings of Europe. But even Real Madrid have lost quite a few games at home. For example, in 2020 to Man City, they lost 2-1 at home. In 2022, just a few years ago, they were losing 3-0 to Chelsea at home. In the end, I think it ended up being 3-2, but that's another loss. So every single other big team have lost at least 2 times at home within this time period. So for Atletico Madrid to not lose even once at home in such a long time, that's absolutely amazing. And what's even more amazing is that they've faced so many big clubs in this period of time. They've faced Real Madrid 3 times at home in the Champions League KO stages over this time period. They faced Man City, peak Man City 3 years ago. They faced peak Klopp Liverpool. They faced peak Bayern in 2016. They have literally faced every single big team, and all of their peak versions, by the way. And despite that, all those encounters, they have never lost once at home. So this is, without a doubt, objectively, by far the hardest stadium in Europe, right? So that's number 1. And number 2, if you look at the game state yesterday, if you take away the penalty, Real Madrid had like 0.35 XG over 120 minutes. 0 big chances created. So, apart from the penalty, which Mbappe won, they had absolutely no chance of scoring. They never looked like they were scoring. They didn't create any chances. They only had some very weak shots from very tight angles. Like, those chances that they had last night, I don't even think they were half chances. 0.35 XG over 120 minutes is tragic. So at no point did they look like they were scoring. At no point did they create anything. And they were completely outplayed last night. Atletico Madrid were peppering on their goal the entire night. Julian Alvarez, every single time he took a shot, he looked like he might score. So they were getting completely outplayed. In these conditions, when your team is creating absolutely nothing against the best defensive side in Europe, at the best, hardest stadium in Europe as well, and your team is getting completely outplayed, these are possibly the hardest possible conditions that a player will ever play in. And when you're playing in such hard conditions, every single one of your actions become far more important. And for Mbappe to win a penalty, especially in the way he did, he made an absolutely amazing, breathtaking, all-timer dribble to win a penalty. That automatically means that he had a great game. Even if he spent the rest of the game, just walking to the stands and flirting with the girls, that would still mean he had a great game. Because there are 2 actions that are the best, most important actions. Obviously, scoring a goal is the best action. But the second best action is winning a penalty. Because winning a penalty is by far the best form of chance creation. You're basically giving your teammate an 80% chance of scoring. A clear shot at goal, which is completely undefended, and they basically have unlimited time to run up. And it's not like he won the penalty in a lucky way. He made an all-timer dribble. The dribble was extremely well defended, because we're talking about Atletico here. Both the center backs, they were extremely well positioned. Even though they were backing off, their recovery defense was amazing. Because Atletico Madrid have the best recovery defense in Europe. At no point were they out of position. Mbappe makes an absolutely amazing dribble to win a penalty from this position. That play alone means that he had an outstanding game. And it's absolutely crazy for people to say otherwise. What's even crazier, it's like you have games like Messi versus the Netherlands at the 2022 World Cup. Other than a through ball, he literally did nothing all game. There wasn't even one moment of threat, right? Don't tell me, oh, he did all this ball progression stuff. All this ball progression stuff means absolutely nothing. You look at the game last night. Do you think Madrid had trouble progressing the ball against Atletico Madrid? Of course not. Progressing the ball to the final third is the easiest thing in football. What's hard is actually doing something in the final third. Mbappe winning a penalty through a solo all-timer dribble is a far more superior action and a far better action than Messi making a through ball to Molina, where Molina still had to do a lot to score the goal. I can't believe that people are actually saying Mbappe did poorly. This is crazy. Like, how can you watch what he did yesterday, the way he won the penalty, and still say he had a poor game? Especially given how hard the game was, just how hard the conditions were. It's absolutely crazy.